Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ella John Show. Listen, if you are watching from Facebook, I just want to thank you. And I'd like for you to share the broadcast because you don't want anyone to miss out on tonight's broadcast. If you are watching from YouTube, please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. But I want to thank all of you for tuning in to the Ella Johnson Show tonight. Now, those of you that have been following us all week, you know that this is Domestic Violence Week here on the Ella Johnson Show. And what we've been doing is bringing guests on who have survivor stories, who have survived domestic violence. Now, I want to welcome you guys and my beautiful co-host, Carla. She's been with me all week and she's going to finish out the week. But Carla was, I brought her on as my co-host because her show was one of my most watched domestic violence shows because she too is a survivor. So say hello to everyone, Carla.
Hi, thank you all for having me. I'm so excited to be here again tonight. And I'm excited to talk to some guys to hear their
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Because I know a lot of people watching probably have just kind of discounted the fact that men also suffer. But you know, we have two guys here. So let's meet our wonderful guys. We have Tommy Dudley II. He is an advocate for domestic violence. Now, the thing that's so amazing about Tommy, he's a two-time survivor of domestic violence and parental alienation. He's a survivor of spinal fusion, and he's an advocate for scoliosis awareness. Welcome to the broadcast, Tommy.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me, Queen.
Oh, well, thank you. You were watching last night and you were just such a great participant and you've been with us all week. So I think it's just awesome that you're able to be with us. And then we have Charlie. You cannot misspell his name because he has it right there on his name there for you. Charlie, not Charlie, but Charlie. And Charlie Stecker is he's the author of Excel Higher. He's the founder of Charlie's Angels. He's a former police officer, and he is also the 2016 Pinnacle Award winner at Being Beautiful Foundation for Kids. Now, he does so many other things, but it would take up the hour to talk about everything that he does. Welcome to the Ella Johnson Show, Charlie.
Well, hello, and thank you for having me, Sis Ella. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right. So I just want to clarify a part. Let me just clarify a part of my introduction. I was never a law enforcement officer. I was on the list to become one. Part of the domestic violence I experienced kept me from that career. Although I am a former U.S. Coast Guard narcotics interdiction person from 82 to 88. So I did work in that, but I never got on the police force. So I just want to clarify that. I apologize if I didn't make that clear before. Thank you so much.
Well, you know what? It's their loss.
Right.
It's their loss. You should have been. You look like one.
No,
If I saw you, if you would have pulled me over, I would get some act right. For real.
well, you know what's interesting as you say that, and I don't want to detract from the show, but it's interesting because when I was going through the process to get hired, and it was 3 years of process to actually get my name on the list. When I was interviewed by the chief of police at the town. Matter of fact, anybody who heard of Megan's Law, that's actually where I was becoming a cop when Megan Kenka was killed in Hamilton Township, New Jersey, which created the sex offender registry. But the chief of police told me then that I would be a much better counselor than I would be a cop because I wanted to help people. So shouldn't a law enforcement officer be helping people? And so
exactly.
Ironically, though, and I don't want to detract, but here I am 1994, I'd have 27 years on the force. Today, what am I? I'm a counselor. So his words came true.
Wow. Yes. He spoke it into your life. Well, listen, I know everybody wants to meet you guys and hear your stories. We're going to start with you, Tommy. Two-time survivor of domestic violence. Now, I just tell me, how comfortable are you with telling your story? Because I saw you on someone else's show and you're here now. How comfortable are you and why shouldn't men be uncomfortable?
I'm pretty comfortable with it now. I've been telling my testimony since 2016, but before that, I didn't want to speak on it. Of course, I can understand why men are so adamant about not speaking on it because of the shame, the guilt, the inadequacy, the embarrassment, all that sort of stuff. And then it's like, if you do tell a woman or a man that you have been abused, you have to look at it from two sides. You mean the guys that you know, excuse my language, they're gonna call you out of your name, they're gonna call you punks and all kind of things, saying that you got beat on by your woman. Because I've heard it. One of my friends at my high school reunion said, Tommy, I heard you was getting your ass beat by your wife. So I just say, hey, hold on. Let's not go there. Let's not say it like that, because that's not what was going on. I can defend myself, but the way I was raised, I chose not to. I know that I have self-control for that now. And then you have to look at the other side when you're telling the females, they're either going to feel sorry for you. Men don't like that. They don't like you to pity them, to feel like, oh man, he got hit on. It's kind of like a weak thing. So they're not going to want to, tell a woman that, because they're going to feel like to a woman they can't defend themselves. To a woman they can't protect them. To a woman they can't provide. Right. So this inadequacy starts to show up, the feeling of inadequacy. Right. So, you have to look at it from that standpoint. And then, also, as long as I've been doing this, I've come across a few survivor sisters that have said, we can't talk about male domestic violence because women die more often. And when men start dying as much as women, then we can talk about it. And it just floored me, because it's like, you feel like I'm trying to take the limelight from you, which I'm not. I'm trying to stand alongside you, spread awareness, let you know that men aren't too different from women. When it comes to abuse, we feel the same way. We feel the same pain. We feel the same confusion, the same fear. The punches, they hurt the same. The kicks, the scratches, the choking, the nightmares, the PTSD. I've had all that. So it feels the same.
Well, let's go back, because identify your abuser. Who is it that abused you?
I had two. One was in Seattle, Tacoma. That was my ex-wife I have a daughter with. And then there was a young lady I was dating here in Dallas that I worked with. She was my second abuser.
How did it start?
Well, with the first one, it started, I saw the red flags. I was like isolated from my friends and family, because I'm an outgoing person. So I usually like write a lot of letters. I talk on the phone. I still send postcards. I'm old school. I stopped doing all that. She was more looking at my phone, seeing who my friends were. People just stopped calling at one point, and I stopped calling and reaching out because I was ashamed of the situation I was in. I pretty much remember I was trying to appease her and, kind of want her to be appealing to her. So I had made the comment that, I'm wearing this outfit for you, and, do you like it? Is it something you like? And she said, I really don't like that outfit, this, that, and the other. The next day, her brother wears the same type of outfit I just had on. And I said, wow. I was like, you seem to like his outfit more than mine. But that's the same thing I was wearing. I just asked you as a type, and she was talking about how good he looked and how handsome he is and all this sort of stuff. And then when I wear it, you said you don't like it. So she says, did you just say that I'm messing with my brother? And she gives me a right hook. So I turned my face.
Wow.
And I grabbed I was like, am I bleeding? I was like, did she just hit me? That's what I'm thinking. And then I went to say something again, and she came with another one. And I was like, wow, what do you do at this point? Do you call the police? Do you leave? Do you fight back? What are you supposed to do as a male? So I sit there and I just took it. I was like, wow, like, I don't even know what to say. Usually I would defend myself if it was somebody, I know I'm supposed to be fighting back. Right. It's not supposed to be putting hands on me, but it's a woman. Right. And if I fight her back, they're automatically going to take me to jail. I'm already the guilty party because I'm the male there. So that's how it started with that one. And it just escalated from there. For 4 years, I dealt with that.
Did you ever call the police? Did you ever call the police on her?
I did. After 4 or 5 years, after the marriage, after the daughter, I finally got tired of it. And I called because I was afraid to call them because I didn't trust them. You know, where I'm from here in Dallas, you don't talk to the police. You know, you don't trust them. So, I mean, I thought if I called them, I was going to be the guilty party because she could say whatever she wanted to. I'm in her turf. I'm in Seattle, Tacoma. I don't have any family up there. Her entire family, her entire life is up there. I'm new to it. The only thing I have is my job at the airport, at the airlines, you know, and I have her and I have the place that I got with her. So it's like, you know, there's no shelter to turn to for men. There's no counseling. There's no advocates, you know, for men. You know, I got a protective order. I got restraining orders. I got all that stuff. But, you know, it was a joke to people. You know, the cops would show up and they, you know, they laugh about it. They'd be like, you need to hurry up. You need to do this. Oh, she's hitting on you. Are you okay? Did she choke you? You know, ask me how I quit taking pictures. And, you know, they just made me feel like I was a suspect. So, I mean, I didn't feel comfortable calling them. And when I did call them, like I said, that's how they treated me. And then this is my first time in the back of a squad car. I was terrified. You know, they taking pictures of me. It's 3 a.m. I found a payphone in the middle of Seattle, Tacoma. Of all things, I'm old school. I found a payphone. Called the police. They come down the street. 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm in my work uniform for the airport. Got scratches and blood and everything on me. My necktie is gone. My name tag is messed up. You know, she's really just wailed on me. Then they get me in the car. They drive me up there. They trying to get in the door with her. And I'm thinking to myself, please don't open the door. You know, that's what I'm thinking to myself because I didn't want her to get in trouble. You know, as much as she had done to me in them 4 or 5 years, I didn't want her to get in trouble. You know, I had a daughter with her. I was married to her. You know, she opened the door. I saw him wrestling with her. I heard her screaming. I see the phone drop. I see him cuffing her. You know, she's resisting them. You know, then she had time to call her stepdad. He hates my guts. He come over there. He ready to attack me. You know, so they told me to go in the house, lock the door, get whatever I could get together and you know, because he wants to hurt me now too. So, I mean, that's what I had to do. I had to deal with not only her, but her entire family up there. There was a bunch of enablers that was after me too. You know, they were looking for me too, wanting to attack me when it was time for them to come around. You know,
well, was she telling them that you were the aggressor?
She would say that she didn't do it. She said that I was the aggressor. She said that she hit me because she had the right to, because I was trying to leave and I need to listen to her. Then she said I was a cheater. Yeah, she did all this stuff. You know, she tried suicide. She had all these underlying issues that were going on with her that she didn't want to get out. And so did her family. They had this status that they were trying to live up to in Seattle. And it wasn't that driving around in Jaguars and Hummers and all that stuff, but you don't have the money. You live in that champagne lifestyle, but you really Starbucks. You know, you don't have that kind of money. You just perpetrate. That's what she was doing.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make light, but that's funny.
Yeah, you trying to live a champagne lifestyle. You out here driving around in a Hummer, but people are getting evicted from their apartment. You know, how is that? How does that work? How does people's phone getting cut off? How is people not getting their paychecks, but you driving around in Hummers and Jaguars and stuff and trying to show this other lifestyle around Seattle, Tacoma? You know,
now, Carla, I mean, you know, you experienced, you know, is it any different with a woman than what he experienced?
I have so many questions right now. I have so many questions. Number one, where was your child during all of this?
She would usually be with her grandmother. So she never saw it.
So your child wasn't there the night finally. Now, was that the first time that you ever actually called the police?
That was the first time I called after I got hit. I called because my tires were flat one year. Yeah. I came outside, my tires were flat, window was cracked, stuff like that. You know, I did call a few times. I hung up because I didn't want to get in trouble.
Right.
You know,
yeah, that is, I think we've probably all done that before we've ever even said a word. I used to anonymously report him drinking and driving all the time, my ex-husband, praying that they would like pull him over. But so when the officers got there, did they believe you right away or were they hesitant?
I think they were pretty hesitant. They shined the light on me. You know, it was, like I said, it was dark. They shined a light on me. They looked at my hands. They looked at me. They asked me what happened, and I was telling them. And I was shaking. You know, I was nervous. And I was, you know, I just ran down the street. It's 3 a.m. Like I said, I know I'm gonna miss work. I felt like they were like looking at me like, you know, did he do this? You know, and then I looked at the police reports and I could tell that the way they worded it, it was like they did not feel like I was in any danger. You know, they asked me, did she strangle me? And I said, yes. Well, could you not breathe? Of course I can't breathe. She's choking me with my tie. You know, but they said accusations and accusatory and all this stuff, you know, it's like they didn't believe what I was saying.
Yeah, I think that's just law enforcement when they show up, because I got all the same stuff. You know, I think I think domestic violence is one of those things where they show up and they're like, all right, y'all got to a fight? You know, like, they don't really take it seriously enough. And so I agree with you. I mean, I can imagine that when they got there, they were hesitant. I mean, they probably thought y'all were just both crazy fighting. And so after that incident, did you leave? Was that it?
After that, actually, I did not leave. I left, but I was still around. You know, this was going on from 2006 to 2010 in Seattle, Tacoma. So I was actually commuting too, because like I said, I worked for the airlines. So I was flying back home to Dallas every weekend. You know, that was my way to get away from Seattle. You know, just flying home. That was a perk of working for the airline. No one at the airline knew what was going on. I hid that. My work attendance was bad. I almost got fired. You know, I kept getting called into the office. My attendance, not showing up, no calls, no shows, things of that sort, being tardy. You can't do that in the airline industry, but I was too ashamed to talk about it. And like I said, I didn't tell anyone until 2010. And that was when I left that industry and, you know, kind of, you know, told everybody, HR, management, CEOs, I told everybody I could tell at that point, Port of Seattle police. Yeah.
Good for you.
So Tommy, tell me, can you recall the worst thing she did to you?
It would have to be that day. When I finally called the police, it was probably like, we had been married only like 2-3 months. And it was around Labor Day, September 2010. And she got mad because I took my ring off. And I told her I was done. And that's when she choked me. That's when she pushed me up against a light fixture, and we broke the light fixture. A lot of pitches, you know, stuff fell on my head. You know, she kind of bent me. And like I said, I got scoliosis. So I have rods in my back. So, I mean, my range of motion is okay, but it's not the best. So, you know, her bending me and doing all that stuff, you know, it made me kind of sore. You know, it really kind of bent me out of shape, but I was just trying to keep off me and hold off me, you know, and the bites and the punches. You know, I had a bite on my ankle. You know, she said I pulled her hair out, but if I was holding her hair, it was to try to pull her off my ankle, you know, and she was wearing wigs anyways. I don't see how I pulled her hair out, but you know, she always came up with something. She was like Lynn Whitfield on a thin line between love and hate. She hit herself with them oranges and slam her arm in the door and tell them it was me. She was one of them, like crazy. And I don't like to say that word, just throw it around, but
no, but that's
you know, when somebody ain't got a lick of sense when they do stuff like that, they blame you, they pretend to be the victim.
Right.
And she used to always say, it's so hard being misunderstood. And I'm thinking, misunderstood? And trying to act like I'm gonna cut my own wrists and taking pills and, you know.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did you ever want to hit her though? I mean, just being real, did you ever want? I mean, because I know you had to be angry.
I did, you know, because I was like, this girl would not, you know, when you tell somebody to stop, you know, my mom always told me, you tell somebody to stop, they need to stop. You know, they don't need to continue to put their hands on you. You know, my mom was a abuse victim. She was an abuse survivor, you know, sexual abuse, molestation, rape. domestic violence. And then she also dished it out. So she always told us, if someone put their hands on you, kill them. That's what my mom said.
Oh my
And
God.
as a Southern gentleman, the way I was raised around my grandparents, around the ladies of the house, it was like, I can't put my hand on the woman. As hard as she was hitting me, as much as she was scratching, biting, punching, kneeing, everything she was doing, choking, strangling, I couldn't do nothing but try to keep off. But then I was like, if she get any little mark, they're going to take me away. You know, I was always thinking about my future and about, you know, what could happen to me. You know, I always thought, you know, I'm either going to end up in jail or in a funeral home somewhere, you know, because those are the only two choices I have, you know, dealing with somebody like that. Because if you tell someone to stop, and the more you tell them to stop, they continuously hitting you, they continuously walking up on you. You say, stop, no, that's just like being raped. No, stop. And they still proceed to do it. They're not listening at all. They just out of their mind with it, you know, and that's what it always was.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it was pretty similar with both women. They were both just the same.
Yeah. I mean, the second one here in Dallas, I mean, she attacked me on the freeway while I was driving, you know, on the freeway in the middle of the city, you know, and I had to pull the car over, and she had asthma. So she's having an asthma attack. She's still trying to hit on me. I'm trying to hold her and lower the window so she can breathe, but she's still attacking me in the car. You know, I pulled over, I saw some cops. I was going to get their attention, but I didn't want to bother them, you know, because I didn't want her to get in trouble because she had kids of her own. I didn't want her kids to be without her, you know. So then we get to the projects where she was living, and I was living with her, my sister and my nephews, and she attacked me outside in the parking lot. And I had to throw her down on the floor, you know, on the ground. And that made her mad because she kept coming up on me. But I had to hold her down and restrain her because she was steady attacking me. But the fact of the matter, I had to also look behind myself because we in the hood, we in the projects, and it was homeboys out there. If they thought I was beating on a girl, they would have jumped me.
Right.
I could have got beat worse for them thinking that I was doing something to her. You know, so I had to end up running like 3 or 4 blocks down the street that night, through the graveyard, from the project down the street. And I had to use this lady's phone that was in a washateria like 4 blocks down the street to tell my sister that she just did this and I gotta leave. I don't know where I'm gonna go. She took all my clothes. She took my passports. She took all my paperwork. She bleached it and she burned it. So I had to start over new. That was in 2015. She attacked me at work at the airport. We worked together. She attacked me there.
Was she fired?
No, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell anyone about that. You know, but I only dealt with that abuse 2015. I only dealt with that from like June to like October. Because at that point, I was like, I can't do this for 4 more years.
Right.
I did this with this lady up in Seattle for 4 or 5 years. I'm not gonna do this again.
Good for you. Yes.
At that point, it was like I had to leave. I had to leave with the clothes. I had a sweats and a sweatpants. That's all I had. You know, that's what I left with. And you know, I had to start over again because she took everything from me. And like Brother Charlie was saying, I had to get my passport because I was trying to be a flight attendant. And I was studying for 6 months. And I had 6 weeks of training in Fort Lauderdale. Due to the ex-wife, the first abuser, and the parental alienation and the Washington State child support, they revoked me being able to get my passport. So all that training was for nothing. So I wasn't even able to become a flight attendant because of an ex-abuser, parental alienation, and child support. So the second one, she knew that was important to me, so she took my passport that night, you know, and it's like they know what you need.
Now, Charlie, you do a lot of
come back. Say again.
Now, Charlie, you work with. No, I was talking to Charlie. You work with kids and everything. Speak on that. What was going on with that, with him and the not being able to get that? Because I know you said that happened to you, but what do you think about what he just said?
Well, first of all, Tommy, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Because my volumes, I adjusted some of the gain on my mic because I was picking up too much outside noise. So I have so much to say on it. I'm trying to figure out where to start at. So first of all, Tommy, I thank you for being a man and standing up and doing what you're doing and speaking out.
Right.
Okay. Don't let any man, anybody, but especially another man, tell you to cash in your man card because you're speaking up. All right. I believe if more men spoke up and if more men spoke out, we could actually lessen the amount of domestic violence that women are suffering at the hands of men, because men aren't taught how to handle their emotions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Men are told, men are told from a little boy's age, suck it up. You're a man. You're a boy, and so we hide it. And so I applaud you being out here tonight. I applaud your realness, your rawness, your straightforwardness. As I'm thinking about, it's funny, you said 2 times, and I'm sitting here going, oh, Lord Jesus, and to God be the glory. Man, if I actually go back and see how, it's probably why I'm staying single and alone right now. And I don't mind it. I'm happy, me and my doggy. But, and I'm going to ask you this question. Not that you need to answer this, Tommy. Okay. So if anybody ever asks you something, you're not comfortable answering it, you don't answer it, brother. You're not obligated. Okay. But I'm going to throw this at you in a way that, just something to contemplate. And if you choose to answer it, man, because I'm sitting there listening to you. I'm going, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I was in this relationship and that happened and that relationship did happen. I read almost every relationship I had with a female other than my daughter. And I'm, it was some sort of thing where I was, and hey, I'm no saint. Okay. I made my mistakes. There is no way. There's some horns popping up underneath here. Okay. I'm straight up about it. But, but every one of those situations I'm looking at, I'm like, yeah, wait a minute. This happened here and this happened there. So I'm wondering, this is the question I'm getting to, Tommy. And again, no necessary answer, maybe something for you to ponder, and our listeners, both now and in the future, as they watch this show.
Yes, sir.
Might there be something in our past? I'll speak for myself. Yes, there is. That generates us attracting this type of person into our lives, ultimately opening us up to the vulnerability of these type of people, because they see something in us and we see something in them. We're attracted to those things that we were used to. I don't know what your mother was like other than what you shared very briefly. And I'm just going to expound on that for a moment. You kind of shared that mom apparently had some abusive tendencies. And is it not possible, and I would dare to say probable, based off of my 30 plus years experience, that we've found ourselves attracted to that which we've been used to being exposed to, because we took that as the norm as opposed to what isn't the norm. And I believe that this happens to women as well. I just share that with you. And man, I'm glad you are where you are today. I'm grateful that we're here tonight sharing this platform. And hey, and rocking the purple, brother. That's my favorite color. So
mine what I mean? Too.
But because that's a good question, Charlie. Because Tommy, you had it twice. You were. I mean, I think I just from just this little time that we have with you so far, I could tell it's because you're like really nice. And some women take advantage of men that are just so sweet, like you are, and it's so sad because there are women out here that are looking for a man that's, sensitive to a woman's needs. And here you are doing that, what women say they want, and then you're being treated this way.
Right.
So you're sitting here today. You're not with these women. What happened after you left? Did they, do you still have a relationship with them because of the kids?
Well, actually, my ex-wife, like I said, I got a daughter with her. So this is another way the parental alienation comes into play. I haven't seen my daughter since she was 5. So she's 12 now. I pay child support to Washington State. She gets my income tax. She gets my stimulus checks. I'm unemployed now because of COVID. She gets half my unemployment. She gets all that.
Even the stimulus check? Even the stimulus check?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. All my income tax returns, she gets that. I was talking to my attorney the other day because I was in a car accident, and he was looking in my file because he was closing up everything. He told me the other day, I already knew what he was going to tell me, but I broke down anyway because it still hurts. but he told me that I wasn't going to get anything because Washington State already had their hands out. So he said he was going to pay them off with the settlement. So my accident settlement that I was involved in, that I was rear-ended and injured and did treatment, they're going to send the money to her.
Oh,
For child.
Tommy,
oh.
if I may, real quick, and Ella doesn't know, has no idea I'm going to do this, and neither does Carla. But as you get to know me, you're going to find out this is what I do. I'm going to give you my phone number. I'm going to say it live on air because I don't care. If somebody needs me, they call me 24/7. I'm gonna. If you have a pen nearby, Tommy, write this down. I want you to call me. I'm going to help you have interaction with your child again. Okay?
Yes.
Because that child didn't pick the parent. And I'm going to help you. I just helped several parents in my local area who hadn't seen their children get to see their children. And God does not like that. God don't like ugly. So if you have a pen nearby, I'm going to give you my phone number. I want you to call me after the show tonight or sometime tomorrow. We're going to get that ball rolling. I'm blessed to be able to advocate for children across all 50 states. I've been traveled to many of the states and actually went into courtrooms where I was recognized through my advocacy work and been able to facilitate mediation between parents. And I believe, and I'm going to claim it right now. And and for those of you who aren't faith followers, who don't believe in anything, that's okay. I'm not here pushing what I believe on you. I don't, you have a right to believe or not believe. But I'm going to tell you straight up, Tommy, your child needs you, and you know that. And you have a responsibility to stand up for your child's rights. And I'm going to show you how to take back what the devil's stealing from you and your child. So you ready? You ready with a pen? If you don't have
I don't have one with me right now.
All right. Well, you know what I'm going to do? Hey, you and I are connected.
Recorded. We can go back and watch it. It's okay.
Tommy, you and I connected on Facebook a short time ago. I'm gonna send it to you through private messenger. But I promised our listening audience I am going to say it out loud because listen, God's world's working 24/7, folks. The enemy's out there trying to attack. If you're a parent, I don't care if you're mom, dad, if you're a grandparent, if you're a family member, and you're having a challenge getting in touch with your children and your family, I am here to help you. If I can't help you, I'll find someone that can. So here's my number. It's 570. That's 570. That's the area code. This is in the United States. If you're overseas, if you're in Canada and Mexico, and you cannot call into the states without costing you money, you text me and I can call. I have calling into Canada and Mexico at no cost to me. Yeah, I said Mexico because that's how you say it in Mexico. But so it's 570 is the area code. 856 are the first three numbers. 5895. 570-856-5895. I am no hero. I am no superpower, but I know one thing. When it comes to children, I'm blessed to be their voice. And so, Tommy, we are going to believe, and we're going to. You need your child, and your child needs you, and we're gonna make that happen. Okay? And ain't no domestic violent person, ain't no other parent, no matter whether it was. And I've said this to women too. Women, if you're dealing with a man who's the father of your child and you're dealing with these issues and you don't know how to overcome them, you take my number, you call me, because we can make things change because children need you. So, Tommy,
let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question. Will you be able to get some of his money back? I'm just saying. Can you help him with that? Brother needs his money.
I feel you. Right. But here's the sad reality on money. And it's a disgusting sad reality is, and this is not apparently Tommy's situation nor mine, but there are men, and I haven't found a woman yet that has had to do this because usually a woman knows who their child is, okay, because they came from their womb. But there's men who have paid child support, who have taken care of these children that they find out later weren't their child. And guess what? The man can't get a penny back, not a penny. And matter of fact, I know several men right now that had the paternity test done. They were already taking care of the child, already provided for the child. The paternity test came back that, and folks, we're going to have laughter here, okay? So I'm about laughing. The test came back like Maury Povich, you ain't the baby daddy, and we might be 8 or 10 times into it. And guess what? That who ain't the baby daddy who's been paying the money has to continue paying the money with no reimbursement. This is live happening right now in 2021. Okay, so the answer to your question is, Ella, I don't have the insight on how to get the monetary back, but you know what's more important than monetary, and I think we all would agree to this, is the relationship between a parent and their child, especially a parent that has what Tommy has that needs to be instilled in this child. Tommy, is a boy or girl?
Girls.
Okay, well, Tommy, you already know this, or I'm going to say this, I'm sure many other girls learn how a man's supposed to treat her based off of a relationship with her dad, okay? and men learn a woman off a mom. Why did you and I accept the women into our lives that we did? I ain't spoke on mine yet because I'm just going to go with what you got so far. But because we took the learned behaviors and accepted them and allowed it to come in so that, we are where we are today. But as I indicated to Ella before even Carla and Tommy came on pre-show, I'm going to empower all of you tonight with something that I want you to get rid of the word survivor. I need you to throw that away. And when I get permission from Ella, I'm going to bring that in. But tonight, you are going to leave this broadcast tonight. And those who listen in the future, you are not a survivor. You are much more. I'm going to give that to you in a little bit once Ella gives me the clear.
Wow.
Well, I am excited. I'm full. Are you not full, Carla? I mean, it's been a wonderful week. You see how God is bringing this together? We just met Charlie last night from the guest last night. Y'all remember Lurleen last night? She's the one that told me right after the broadcast about you, Charlie. And he was like, I'm ready. When are you ready to go? I'm like, well, tomorrow. And he's like, let's do it. And look how God brought it together. I met both of you guys yesterday, both of you.
Exactly.
And look how God pulled it together and God sent you the help you needed. You deserve this. I'm just so full right now. But Charlie, since we're talking about you're talking now, tell us about your abuse. What happened with your situation?
Sure, and I just want to go back for a moment to what Ella just shared. What I see going on across the nation, across the world right now, is that the people of God, and again, if you are not a God person, you are not excluded. I love you just as much as I love my believers. Okay, so but the people of what has happened throughout generations now is there's been pieces of chain lying across stranded across the country and around the world, thinking that we're in our own little boat and we're all trying to survive. God's taking those pieces and putting them together and linking them through places like social networking, these podcasts we're on, and the power. All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Praise God. But the power that is happening and linking, and we're coming together stronger than ever before. So thank you so much. And I truly appreciate bringing up that comment. That just, listen, my brothers out there that are listening, if you ain't got a tear coming out your eye, and you want to let that dang thing out, okay? Men cry. Real men know how to cry. And it's okay to cry. It's okay to show emotion. It's okay to break down in front of the lady next to you or the woman next to you. It's okay to go sob in the darn grocery store if you need to let that out. Whatever you need, all right? But so my abuse, holy moly, Batman. So, well, I guess my original abuser was my actual mother, domestic violence. I mean, because I consider child abuse is domestic violence. Okay. Right. And it's a form of domestic violence that gets little to any attention because when we see a child getting beat upon or getting hit upon, we automatically think the child did something wrong. If the adults hit the child, they must have done something, where two adults going at it, we have the cops called and somebody or both people get arrested and charged. So, my biological mother was my original abuser. I was removed from her. My brother, my sister, and I were removed from her and put into foster care where I had 10 wonderful years. I think I shared some of this with Ella last night. I'm going to just a snippet of things here. I had one 13-day bad experience in foster care, and that was when my foster mother decided that my brother no longer needed to have life, and so she stole his life on February 28, 1967, and she almost took mine with it. But see, God had a plan. So this past Sunday was just the 54th anniversary of my brother earning his angel wings, and sometimes I'm jealous of him. I used to be upset about him, but I used to be like, man, I need you here. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you was here, then I mean, I get to have an extra woman because you ain't here. So I got to go find two women. I couldn't even keep one, let alone find two. But so I do have a sense of humor. But there was a point where I said, you know what? I'm a little jealous because he gets to chill out with God every day. And he can be in Paris on the Eiffel Tower in the morning and by afternoon be in Hawaii or somewhere in the mountains skiing. I'm like, you ain't got it so bad after all. But at the end of the day, so that my early childhood, my experiences with domestic violence as I learned when it began. And then as a teenager, I was returned to my biological mother, where from the age of 13 to just about 19, when I escaped her, when I say escaped, I mean literally escaped, I witnessed her beating her boyfriends. I mean, beat them to the point of stitches and broken bones. She would want me to fight her, literally put her fists up and say, come on, hit me. Like Tommy said, and I'm grateful for what I learned. I learned in the foster homes, you don't hit a woman. You don't hit, a man never hits a woman. I've been kicked in my groin by a woman, okay? And what did I do? I fell over. I sucked it up. I got up and I moved myself away. I would not. I've been punched around and told, hit me. I know you're going to do that because that's what men do. I took the beating and I stepped away. Okay. It doesn't make me a hero. It just makes me understand that, it wasn't my place to impose what I could have physically upon her. It was my place to step to the side. And, you'll hear people say, well, if she hits you like a man, she gets hit like a man. Yeah. Folks, she's still a woman. Okay. I'm sorry. She's still a woman. She's doing that because something inside her triggered her that's her defense mechanism. There's something inside her that brought that behavior about, just like men. And it doesn't give a ticket. It doesn't give a pass for that kind of behavior to happen. So Tommy, that happened with my mother. And then, I would say while I was in the military, I really didn't have much happen in that area. But then when I got married, I didn't realize too many years later how much of a controlling marriage I was in. I wasn't happy, although I didn't know it. I thought I was happy can be, but if I didn't do toe to rope the way I was supposed to, if mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. Well, there was no happy in my house, because no matter what you did, mama wasn't happy. I mean, I'd send her roses for no apparent reason because I thought that was nice to do. And because there wasn't the right amount of roses, or because a petal was missing or something, it was always, you picked the worst ones. I'm like, what? It's not even your birthday. I just did it. I bought her cars and dropped them off at work, filled up balloons, and came out. And the thing, it isn't about what we've done. We can all throw lists out. Listen, it's at the end of the day, we've learned through behaviors that we were conditioned to in our childhood to accept behavior from people that isn't conducive to what we should. And I think for me, coming out here tonight, I could share my stories, but we hear stories. And my thing is, what have we done to overcome them? And how can we empower people? And that's where Ella mentioned in the beginning of the show, Charlie's Angels. It's actually I've since DBA'd it, which stands for doing business as. Charlie's Angels, actually my brother. He's my original angel. I believe on 54 years ago, he was assigned as my guardian angel. And now it's called Charlie's Angels Programs of Empowerment. And it's CAPE, CAPE. And the CAPE is the angel wings. And I empower people to understand that, whatever we went through. I mean, you talk about your marriage, Tommy, a few month relationship. I had a marriage that literally lasted from the time we walked in to the judge's chambers to say I do to the elevator. It ended because she had manipulated and told me she wanted to be married, this and that. She told her father, her mother, her dad, her stepmom, and her mother all showed up there. They all were there. We got to the elevator. I don't want to be married. You just put me through a year of craziness. Her brother, who's a lawyer, put me through all kinds of background check to make sure I wasn't any kind of crazy person because of my background. Because when you look at my background, the deeper, you're like, this guy might have some issues, But by the grace and mercy of God, I'm blessed not to have those issues. Do I have issues? Heck yeah, I'm human. I fall short every day. Okay, but I don't have issues that are going to make the detriment a woman or a child's life. They may detriment mine, and that's not good either. But that being said. So I had a marriage that lasted long enough literally to get out of the elevator. Now, I called the judge back from downstairs with her mom and dad on the phone with me, asked them to, hey, do me a favor, tear up that thing because she don't want to be married. She'll be okay. She'll get over it. Just go on. So that very day, less than an hour later, we had decided, because I was at the time living with my biological father because he was sick and I was taking care of him, and she only lived a few blocks away from him. Well, we're going to move in together at her place, and then we'll get our own place because I didn't like the fact that I don't think when a couple comes together, my opinion, not that necessarily of our hosts or other people on the show, but I believe when a couple comes together and if they have one place or the other person has a place, they should work at some point to get a place that they both joined together and created. So that way it isn't, this was my place, this is your place, this is our place. But that being said, that day I went over there because that's what our plan was. I was going to move. I got there. I literally rolled up to the door, and next thing, cops are surrounding me, and I'm being told you can't be here. And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So they talked to her and they let me inside. I got inside. She started hitting, spitting at me, cursing at me, and then she called the police and said I assaulted her because when I learned through working in the juvenile justice system how to do passive restraints, which don't cause any harm, don't cause any marks, but will slow somebody down. And what I did is I got behind her and I just held her to me with my arms wrapped around her so her arms couldn't move anymore, and she couldn't spit at me anymore. At least when she was spitting, it was out in front, not at me. And the cops came and they said, we told you not to come here. I said, no, actually, you told me to come in here. I told you I didn't want to be here. So I got up at her. They didn't arrest me and I went about my way. So I understand that. And later on, I mean, my last relationship I was in, it lasted 4 months because like you, Tommy, I woke up and said, whoa, You know what? And this wasn't a physical abusive relationship. This was the part of what we don't talk about a lot, and women don't either, is mental abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, spiritual abuse. Okay, using your child against you abuse. Okay, that type of thing. Hers was more, the silent treatment, the ignorant treatment. And when I would ask her to, to face her own demons, which I was willing to help her walk through, they weren't her demons, they were mine. Yeah. And so, I understand that. And so I'm honored to be here with all of you tonight. And right now, I really, again, want to say that, and someone out there that's listening right now, I pray constantly. I'm always in prayer, always Holy Spirit guide me to the way I understand. Right now, I feel like, and I ain't speaking out that I don't, thus saith God, because I don't know. I just know the inside something's telling me there's someone listening right now that may be listening right now a year from now when you're watching the rebroadcast of this. But you need something. And if you need anything, my number was broadcast earlier in this show. And I'm sure Miss Ella, Miss Carla, my brother Tommy, we will do the best we can to help you. But you're not alone. And that's the point. That's what's coming to me, to tell somebody right now, you are not alone. So I can go into the stories, but you know what? It's about where we are today, lifting our heads, growing up. And Carla, I saw you are being so patient, sitting down there all quiet and stuff, just head shaking, body going, body language saying, I need to talk about something. So I'm gonna sit back and attempt.
What's your questions, Carla? Spit them out. Go ahead.
Ooh, I have so many questions. You talked about mental, emotional. I assume with women, there's probably a lot of psychological abuse. Did you ever call the police? Did you ever file any reports?
You talking to me personally?
Yes.
The answer is no, I didn't, because like Tommy said, and I'm with him. The reason I didn't, first of all, I was thinking, well, they're going to say, yeah, you're a man. Come on, I'm going to be. Now, should I have? Probably should have. But my mind told me that I'll be laughed at, I'll be scoffed at, and especially and again, I'm very transparent. Okay, I'm you can see through me. I'm so transparent. I had one time I had an addiction to pornography, and I want to clarify, it was adult pornography. Doesn't make it right. If it was a child pornography, I'd have locked myself up right away. But I had an addiction to pornography, and that addiction helped in destroying my marriage. To my daughter's mother. Okay. Yeah. And it took a lot of years for me to understand how that happened, and might have generated what she did, and I had to own that. But it still doesn't. I go back to your question. I apologize. I kind of got lost there for a moment. I lost my train of thought. I know I was going somewhere.
Well, what I'm finding though, and from Tommy, from Charlie, like from both of you, what I'm seeing though is your same reasons for not calling the police are the exact same reasons why most women also do not call the police. They're afraid of how the social impact, the legal impact. They don't feel like they're going to be believed. That when a man cop shows up and a man's outside, and he's like, "Man, my girl's just being crazy." Like, that is real. That happens every single day. And then a girl goes to jail, or I got to take one of y'all. And, so that's kind of what I've been finding with both of your stories, that you're not different from the way that women feel as well. And I know for women and for most men who are abusers, psychological, mental, financial. What about sexual abuse? I'm assuming women will hold sex from you or use it against you or threaten to have it with other people. Men just seem to just do it, but
or laugh at you when let me disclaimer this: if there's any children nearby, please muffle their ears at the moment, because I'm gonna be about straight with you. Listen, yes, I'm a man. I had wrong head thinking most of my life. Sometimes the one on my shoulders didn't work as fast as the one down below. Okay, so but that being said, I have one of the ways that manipulation happened with me is you try to do something. First of all, I can't even get to that way unless I feel something for the other person. I gotta have. I'm a little different than some men that I understand. I gotta feel something for you before I even allow that. But I've been where I felt that, and then I'm laughed at, and demeaned, in your manhood, and you're like, here I am thinking it's love because I'm opening myself up to that possibility, you know, with when two become one, we go back to, if you go to the Word of God, that's when the union happens, is that action. And when that action happens and you're demeaned and laughed at, it's devastating. And you know, so therein lies another challenge with law enforcement. Again, as I said in the beginning of the show, I entertain the law enforcement world. I am a former private investigator as well. But one of the challenges that law enforcement and doctors and everybody faces, if you're in a domestic violence situation where there is no physical violence, where they can't see, you know, beatings and scars and things where scratches, and when it comes to emotional, all sides are ignored, women and men. Yeah. And we need to stop. We need to break that stigma. We need to start really listening. And the three things I say about listening is there's, I believe, three things. First, we hear it. So hearing means it bounced off your eardrums. Listening means it bounced off your eardrums and went somewhere inside that gray matter that's up inside your head. And then acting upon it is when it bounced around inside your head, it landed somewhere and planted roots and started growing so that you can actually have an action. And I think shows like this tonight and others are taking those what's being heard, what's being listened to, and actually creating a root system inside our minds that are going to grow and be able to stifle what's happening. Because as Carla clearly said, and I know, I don't need to be overtaking this conversation, I want to get back to Ella as well. You know, we're finding out tonight, and I'm praise God, we have another man. We're balanced in in what we hear of men and women, that the issues are the same on both sides. And yes. while I can't speak for same-sex relationships because I'm not in one, I much respect to those that are. Studies have shown, and I've read enough about it, and I've been involved with counseling people in them. It's happening there too, folks. Abuse is abuse, no matter what the abuse is. And so men can't point the fingers and say all women, and women can't point the fingers and say, well, they can. You can do anything you want. We shouldn't be pointing the finger saying all men. We need to understand that this is a universal challenge that we all need to come together, bond together, and stand together in unison against. And I believe we see that happening right here tonight on this show.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, Tommy, talk to me about where you are today mentally with all of this and what's happening, because you own it. You're on these shows and you're telling your story, but where are you mentally today on this situation?
You know, I'm thankful, you know, that today that I don't have the nightmares and PTSD like I was having, you know, these last few years. I thank God that I'm able to sleep a little better. But I don't know if Charlie ever had this, but I've had instances to where I was sleeping and I had sleep paralysis and there were dark figures around the bed. And my grandmother always taught me growing up, you know, I grew up in the church, I'm in the Bible Belt, you know. She always taught me when things are coming around to try to hurt you, to just say Jesus and they'll leave. You know, so that's what I had to do in my sleep or in my sleep paralysis states, you know, in order to get out of those situations. But it was happening quite a bit. You know, I was having nightmares of, you know, having to fight her or being confronted by her and her family. And I don't have those anymore. But my state of mind right now, you know, I wouldn't say I feel sorry for her. I've tried to forgive her. That's how I was a little bit more able to move on. But when it comes to not being able to see my daughter, that's a whole nother emotional, mental, psychological abuse. You know, I think about, is my daughter okay? I think about, is she protecting her? Is she going to be going through the same stuff that she went through that she hasn't dealt with? The rapes, the molestations, the stuff that caused her to pin all that on me. You know, is she protecting my daughter from that? All these family friends and family members that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, you know, so that worries me. And then the fact, like Charlie said, I know, you know, a daughter needs her father. You know, I need her. You know, I don't understand the fact of how you can say I haven't been a good father. I wasn't a good father. I wasn't paying this, that, and the other. But I have my nephews I take care of. You know, I have other children I take care of, God's children, all sorts of things. And I'm not the kind of person that just go out there and flashy. You know, Charlie was saying earlier, you got a nice watch, you got this, that, and the other. But honestly, you know, I spend my money between my sister and what I have going on in Seattle. You know, I try to make sure that I balance the situation to where bills are paid, groceries are in the house, kids have clothes, that sort of thing. And people are like, well, Tom, you need to do something for yourself. And it's like, I can't. You know, my mom taught me to get what you need, not what you want.
Tommy,
So I'm always getting everything I need versus
Tommy,
what I want. Yes,
Tommy,
sir.
you're doing something for yourself right now, brother. I just want to tell you that you're doing something for yourself right now. Okay. And it ain't monetarily, it's inside. You're doing something for yourself right now. So congratulations on taking you time for you, man. Wow.
Man,
I just wanted to say that to you, man. All right.
I'm trying to, man, but I mean, I'm still healing. You know, that's part of my thing. You know, by telling my story, I'm hoping that it'll heal me and that other guys will get the strength to come out here and talk, and that, you know, the other women that are out here and people that are experiencing this, that they'll talk. You know, the children, you know, like you said, the lesbian gay community. You know, it's affecting everybody. And I just hope that by me talking and me saying this, being completely transparent, the stuff that I'm proud of and that I'm not proud of, that somebody get the strength to do it. Because I mean, honestly, if I hadn't met this, I've met this young man. One of your questions, Miss Ella, on your email about who your hero is, you know, as soon as you said that, I thought about Jacob Burris. Jacob Burris, I met him when he was 12, 13 years old at the airport. He was on a Make-A-Wish flight. And Jacob has CHD. Jacob's 19 now. We've been friends and brothers. So I visit him in Eugene, Oregon. He comes to Dallas. He visits Seattle. And Jacob's been telling his story. He has his own tennis shoe. He has his own jackets with Nike. He visited Stan Lee down here in Dallas. You know, and I told Jacob, I said, he was 14. I said, man, I said, the fact that you are a young man and you've been telling your story in DC and Portland and all over the country, why can't I do that? Why can't I be strong, stand up like a man, and say what's going on in my life? And Jacob said, you can do it, Texas Tommy. Just go out there. And he just believed in me, you know. And this dude was 13 years old, you know, and I still contact him now, asking him for advice. I'm 39 years old, going on 40, and I still contact this 19-year-old to tell him when I'm just, man, I'm about to throw in the towel. He like, no, Texas Tommy, you got this. You're this, you're that. And
now, Tommy, please tell me you don't think 39 or 40 is old, because I'm gonna have to go get my walker out then. But
you know what? You know, that's what my nephews tell me. But I still can move. I still got the dance moves. I still got
all right. Now I might put you to the test.
I'm not.
Don't get it twisted right now. I did my 20-year high school reunion. Still, I ain't no crip. I got my Seawalk on. Texas still can dance. I still got it.
Tommy, I want to give you and I know we're kind of, I don't know what our time is, but I'm not in charge of that. That's up to Ella. But I want to give another bit of I want to give you a bit of hope, okay, and along with other people out there, okay. I didn't mention this yet, but I've got a 30-year-old daughter. Okay, my daughter, when she was born with no lungs. She was on life support in the hospital on a system that when she was born in 1991 was only less than a year old. It was still experimental. Now it's used on everybody at all ages. Okay, I bonded with her as a child, and when she was in a medically induced coma, I made audio recordings back when we had the Walkmans back in 91. We didn't have all the stuff we have nowadays. And I put the little headset on her. So when she was knocked out, she was hearing Daddy's voice. I sang songs to her. Thank God I don't have to do it right now, because the dogs would be coming and knocking at the door. But you know, and that's what really hurt when, you know, and it's a topic that men don't get a chance to talk about. But let me go there. Let me just say what I'm going to say right now. Tommy, my daughter was 3 years old when her mother left and took her with her. I lost my daughter for a solid year of first grade. I didn't get to see her at all. At the age of 14, my daughter decided, for whatever reason, that she didn't want to have anything to do with Dad anymore. And it took me she was 29, which was just, or 28. She just turned 30 in January. It took me till she was 14 years. It took me to rebuild that relationship. Okay. But I'm going to tell you what, that relationship today is better than ever. That all those years are gone. She's today, and I'm gonna brag on her because she don't. And I'm not saying her name, so I'm not putting it out there. But my daughter today, at 27, she bought her first home.
Yes.
And she worked her way up. I didn't get I found out where my daughter went to college by Google searching her name. Okay,
Oh,
I didn't get to be involved in any of her college education. I wish she had, because I have a lot of stuff that could have got her some money, but it is what it is. But my daughter now works for a little company called Lysol. She's personally responsible for $920 million of their $15 billion in worldwide sales. Her team is. So, your daughter, even right now, Tommy, even though however many years, and not just, I'm talking to Tommy right now, but I'm talking to anybody that's listening, moms and dads who may not be having a relationship with their children right now for whatever reason, you keep praying, you keep covering them. I did that on the daily for my daughter. And you know what? Today, she's got the man she has in her life. I know God put him there. The person she is today, I know my prayers were answered. And Tommy and everyone else out there right now, if you're struggling, moms, dads, grandparents, if you're struggling with a loved one, it's a child, just pray for them. And I'm going to tell you the power of prayer. Tommy, you and your daughter are going to be together. We're going to do a live where you're with your daughter. I'm telling you, I'm just calling it the way it is.
That's
so,
right.
And so I want to go back to Ella and check time, but if we have time, I'd like to share my idea of Survivor and how we can get people beyond that.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely. Like I told you guys before the broadcast, if we have to go longer, we'll go longer. We're not gonna. Yeah, but what I want you to do, Tommy, and I'm gonna put you on the spot because I didn't tell you that I was gonna do this. I want you to look in your camera, and I want you to pretend that you're talking to both of those women. And I want you to verbalize exactly what you want to say to them right here.
Oof.
And don't hold back. Say what you want. You can say what you want on this show, but I want you to get it out of you because it needs to come out. And this is your moment.
Tommy, I'm stretching my arms all the way out to you, brother. From the Pennsylvania mountains down to Texas, wherever you are. So, and I'm going to take the challenge myself, even though Ella didn't ask me yet. Lord, give him strength right now. Tommy, let it out, brother.
You can do it. Yeah, you can do it.
Let it out, man. It's an unsent letter. Absolutely. It's an unsent letter. Let them tears flow, brother. Let that pain out, man. We're here with you. You're around family.
You can have courage or you can have comfort, but you can't have both. Today, to have courage, you may have to be a little uncomfortable, Tommy. But I believe this is the beginning of your healing. Right now, before we came on this broadcast, we prayed. So we ushered God into this broadcast.
Tommy,
He's with you.
Let me tell you one thing. Let's Tommy, do me a favor. Stop looking down on yourself. Okay? Stop thinking less of yourself, because I'm going to tell you, your body language is yelling at me right now that you don't think you're even worthy of standing up for yourself. And you are worthy. So you don't have to hold your head down. You put your head up. You put them good looking eyes right back in that camera, that Texas Tommy smile. All right? And you let out that real what's going on inside you, brother. You are not less than. You are greater than, as everyone on this broadcast is, including our loved ones that did the things to us that they shouldn't have. But Tommy,
it's also okay you can just say to them to enjoy their ride to hell too. That's also.
Come on, tell him, Colin.
Colin, that's how I feel sometimes. But
Pretend Jacob is here, Tommy. Jacob is your hero. Jacob did it. He's 19. He believes in you. I'm speaking for him to you right now. You can do this.
They hurt me.
Tell her.
Both of them. They hurt me. They lied.
Tell her. Say, you hurt me, Tommy. Tell her, you hurt me. You both hurt me.
You both hurt me.
Come on, brother.
You both lied on me. You both lied to your parents, your families. You put your hands on me. You took my kids away from me. You took my passports. You took my things. Knowing things weren't important to me, but you tried to destroy me. You just tried to destroy my job. You tried to destroy my name. You tried to hurt my friends. You tried to hurt my family. You tried to hurt my coworkers.
But look at you now, Tommy.
You still trying to break me. You still trying.
Come on.
You threaten me, you threaten. They probably gonna come on here and threaten y'all when they see these videos. They threatened other people that I've worked with. Told them I was lying, told them I was a phony, got their family involved. You lied. Y'all both are straight up liars. Y'all both abusive. Y'all both hateful. Y'all both unloving, uncaring. Y'all took things from me that I can't get back right now. I'm still working on it, but I'm gonna get it back. Just evil bitches.
Oh, Tommy, okay, can you say that one more time? Because I don't quite think everybody heard that. Can you let that out again? Because I felt that relief come in you, brother. Come on.
That's
Call it.
Evil bitches.
Hello. And you know what? Some of us men can be evil bastards too, the ones that abuse the women. So, who, Tommy? Come on.
I feel that in my soul.
Y'all, and this is the sad thing about it. It's a generational thing. Your mom did it, your grandmother did it, and they acted like it was all right.
Very, very good.
Your mom told me it was cheaper to keep her. What the hell is that supposed to mean? It's cheaper to keep her, so I got to stay here and get my ass beat to not have to pay her. Just stick around, and I was wrong, right? You have your whole family attacking me from all these cities and up there with you, and you continuously lie to them. You got your husbands attacking me, telling me that I'm not good for my kids, that I didn't do this, I didn't do that. I didn't pay child support. But my attorney told me the other day, I paid you over $33,000 already in 3 years. But I ain't paying.
Right.
I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm not a good father. I'm a deadbeat. Y'all put y'all hands on me and I said no. I said stop it. Just like they say when women say, keep your hands to yourself. Y'all need to learn to keep your hands to yourselves too. I hope y'all not doing that to your new husbands, new boyfriends, or whoever. I hope you're not showing your kids this. I hope you're not showing my kids that.
Tommy, can I'm sorry, I'm not the host. I'm just a guest on here, but
I wanted to finish. I wanted to finish.
Yeah.
You got more.
Come on.
I hate you for using my dad against me when he died. I hate you for telling me he turning in his grave. You knowing how to get to me. I hate you for using the fact that my brother was murdered in New Orleans to get close in there again. Everything you knew that was close to me, you used it to get back in. You came to the funeral and pretended like you cared about me at my daddy's funeral. You pretended like you cared about my nephews and my sister. You got in cahoots with my sister's ex-husband and talked bad about us. And he ain't shit either, just so you know. He's an abuser. He's a liar. But he wants to fight me, but he knows where I'm at. Come find me. I deal with a man. Come find me.
That's healing. That's how it starts. I'm so proud of you, Tommy.
I love you, Tommy X.
Because I know that was hard. But you did it.
Amen. Hey, Ella.
Yeah.
What I wanted to, I like the same challenge of the question, but
yes.
But what I'd like to do too is maybe have Tommy start to think about something that I think might help as well. Okay. And that's, Tommy, I want you to, not to put you on the spot right now, but think about it. And when I'm done sharing what I want to share, I want you to be prepared, if you can, and if you want to send a message to your daughter tonight.
Yes.
All right. Send a message to your daughter, because I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to lead the pack with that, Tommy. I'm going to talk about, I'm going to share what I need to do about my abusers. And I'm going to end my message with a message to my daughter. But I'm going to ask you, because I'm going to tell you what, healing. That's right. Come on, Cynthia, tell them. Hold your head up, Tommy. you're not alone, but okay. So think about it. But your daughter needs a message from her daddy. And to tell you what, if tonight is the beginning of your new line of messages to her. So think about it. All right, brother? You do what you need to do. All right. So,
all right,
Tommy,
now you look into the camera, and I
will,
want you
Tommy,
to talk to you.
I'm going to. Tommy, I don't know if you're reading the messages on here, but you get
I'm angry.
good. Be angry. Let yourself feel that emotion.
How angry are you? Talk to me. Tell me. It's okay. It's okay. You got it.
I'm not the same man I used to be. Not at all. It's a different kind of abuse when you don't see your kids and you think you ain't shit as a man. Some of the stuff they done did to me and said to me, I believed it. And I'm trying to get over that. I don't know if I can text her because she just gonna want to fight. If I come in politely, I'm wrong. If I come in cussing her out, I'm wrong. So there's nothing I can do. If my sister intervenes, I'm wrong. Anything that I do is wrong. And then she gets her little grandfather that owns the lawyer. There's a lawyer up there in Seattle and her stepdaddy, and they all intervene. They got people in their back pockets in Seattle, Tacoma. They got judges, they got police, they got little croonies that they have ruining people's lives. I've seen them do it. I've heard them talk about it. They tried to do it to me. When I got my divorce, I was in the courtroom, me, her new husband, her mama, her attorney, the judge, and the bailiff. And they were talking about holding me in contempt for telling my side. That judge had me on the stand for 2 hours, drilling me about how I was a deadbeat, about how I played with my child, about how I was this, that, and the other, and that he gonna hold me in contempt. Somebody set that up in the middle of downtown Seattle. I'm the only one in the courtroom. In all these other cases, everybody has people in there that are seeing these cases, but I'm in there with the enemy. I'm in there with a legion of demons. And they all judging me and telling me what I'm not doing right and plotting against me. And that's okay. They giggling and talking about stuff that she's doing and that her family's doing. But when I come to talk, I'm getting in trouble. Oh, so you saying this? They putting words in my mouth. I couldn't get anything out. I just don't understand it. My sister is still trying to get child support. Is still trying to figure out what's going on with the child debt, and nobody can find him. As soon as I drop my Social Security number, they know I'm hired somewhere before I know I'm hired. I turned my resume into a job. Child Support Washington done found me just that quick. They know that I'm hired. They telling me I'm hired because they putting liens on my accounts, closing down my bank accounts. I've had 7 or 8 accounts with Chase just because of liens, and they overdrawn my accounts. I don't have a bank account no more because I can't put money in the bank because I can't trust them. Everywhere I go, they taking from me. They take everything from me. And they fail to realize I'm not out here splurging. I'm just trying to survive and make it. I'm trying to help other people. But they taking everything. I can't do it there. Like I said, I'm about to be 40 years old and I'm in here on my sister's couch now with my 2 nephews. They love me being here because I've been with them their whole life. I've been taking care of them their whole life. My daddy's dead. My mama's dead. We don't have no family here. It's just us 4. It's just us. We don't talk to no cousins. Half the relatives been dead. The family broke up when grandma passed away in 1997. So I don't even know who none of them people is really. I just know them from holidays. But I know my sister and my nephews. That's all I know, is she don't talk to nobody. So it's just we have each other. You know, and my mom, she died a victim. She died unhappy. She died angry. She died fighting all the time. You know, that's what my mom showed me. She showed me to not forgive, to hold a grudge, to you know, she fight anybody. She curfews the pastor, the nurse, the maintenance man, whoever. She didn't care because she was so hurt. She would continuously fight, and she put that in me and my sister. She was so overprotective. She didn't want us to do anything. It's like now I was so guarded and protected under her that it's hard for me to express my emotions. It's just like it's hard for most men to express them, because she told me to suppress that stuff. She told me that she was the one that would take care of the problems. She was the one that was going to fight it all off, you know, and now it's like she's not here anymore. And I didn't give a chance to forgive her. My mom passed away in 2018. I wasn't here. We hadn't talked in 2 years. So that's something I have to deal with every day. Her ashes are right over there, next to my daddy's military picture. That's what I deal with every day. I wonder about my daughter. I talked to you about my daughter that's in Seattle that I haven't seen since she was 5, and she'll be 13 or 14 in June. But I didn't tell you about my daughter that's in Ohio, that I was in college and I was dating a girl that was on the basketball team, and she had a daughter with me, and she was born in 2004, and I've never seen her, never talked to her, never got to do any of that with her. She told me, her and her husband, that they could give her a better life. So my ex-wife and her have talked, because I'm transparent, just like you said, Charlie. I'm transparent. I let her have the number. You can talk to her if you think I'm lying about something. So they've talked to each other. My daughters know they got siblings, but they don't know each other. They haven't met each other. I don't know if they talk, but they in cahoots against me too. So it's like, I'm thinking about these 3 women that have tried to completely ruin my life. It's like you said, Charlie, you glad you single? Man, wait till God sends you that woman, that right one, that real woman. You know, like they said, real man, that real woman, that one that's like a ruby, the virtuous one, because this one's that perpetrate, act like they are that and they not.
Right.
You know, they bash on us and don't take accountability for what they doing, and they don't hold their other sisters accountable. We all need to hold each other accountable. Like you said, Charlie, us as men, we need to hold men accountable for abuse, and also for not letting out your feelings and your mental health. But women, y'all need to hold each other accountable as well. Don't say, oh, you need to check that dude. Don't say that. Oh, you need to go through his phone. I got his phone code. I never had a password or nothing on my phone. Every time she went through my phone, she went through it because I let her. I don't feel like I had nothing. Even if I was doing something wrong, she still could go through there and see it, because I'm not hiding it. I was hoping somebody out there would love me better than you. So I saw a creature. I saw a monster. Who wants to have sex with you? Who wants to touch you? You're a creature. You're a monster. You're a bully. And then you say, oh, because I'm not doing that, I'm cheating. No, I wasn't cheating in the beginning. I devoted everything to you. And then when somebody showed me that I was a man, that they were attracted to me, that I wasn't weak, yeah, I went toward that. Just like a woman would go toward, oh, you know, maybe this guy treat me better. Or, oh, maybe I should use alcohol. Oh, maybe I should use, they find something to cope with what they dealing with. Men find the same thing. And I did find it through infidelity. You know, and that's the only thing. That's why I say I'm transparent. That's the only thing she can say about me. And that's what she always said. And every time I'm on a show, whether it's a month, a year, or 2 years later, she'll contact the host. She'll get in their social media and she'll threaten them. Or she'll say I'm a liar. I've been threatened on social media.
Well, Tommy, I gave her my phone number tonight, so I'm expecting my phone to ring, and I'm all right with that.
You don't worry about that,
just
Tommy.
Hear back from her. You hear from the whole enabling family.
I'm not worried about that.
Family,
I ain't either, Tommy.
Yeah, we're not worried about that, brother. I promise you.
I do want to take what Ella asked me to do, if that's okay.
Yes, let's do it.
So what I want to preempt what I'm going to say is with this. Where I am, what I'm going to share comes from the better part. I've been divorced from my daughter's mother for over 25 years. The other things that I'm going to share here, I'm not, you're fresh and raw, Tommy, and it's real and it's live and it's happening. Mine's going to be a reflection over what I went through, where I am today, and what I was able to do to get myself to where I am today. Okay. So as Ella eloquently requested, I'm going to look directly at the camera. So I'm not looking at anybody out there. I'm looking right at the camera as she asked me to do. So I'm going to just address all of you in one full swoop. Okay, that's moms, girlfriends, fiancés, wives, women that have decided on the internet that they were going to take my kindness for stupidity and manipulate and attempt to take down what God has me to do. Yeah, you hurt me. Yeah, you frustrated me. Yeah, you took a lot of stuff away from me that could have happened. But look where I am today, and look where you are today. Yeah, I should have been a cop 20 some odd years ago. It's what I always wanted to do. Yeah, I should have stayed. There's a lot, Mom. I had an appointment to Annapolis Naval Academy at the age of 13. I'd have been in the Naval Academy at 17, but you made sure that didn't happen. Okay, Mom, you said you didn't do all this stuff when I was a little child that had me taken from you at the age of 3. Well, what happened from 13 to 19? When you made me shower with you, when you forced me to watch pornography, when I reported what was going on, when you had me stripped of the scholarship that I won to a very strong academic high school after 8 years of hard studying while I wasn't with you. What happened to all that? You can tell me what you say didn't happen from the age of 3 and earlier, because I can't remember all that, but I know what happened to 13, almost 19. And I'll tell you what, I mentioned earlier in the show, the woman that murdered my brother, had she murdered me that day, would have been more merciful than what you did to me for the 5 years when I was returned to you after 10 years in foster care. To the woman that murdered my brother, you know, you're gone now. You were gone, but I was blessed to be able to reach out to you prior to finding out you were dying in late 1995. I found out you were dying. I was blessed to reach out to you. And I said these words to your sister when I spoke to her on the phone, who was scared. Why are you calling me? What do you want from my sister? I said what God had put on my heart was to let her know that if she had not gotten the right relationship with God because of what she did to my brother, and by the way, 2 other children before my brother, that her name appears on 3 death certificates of children, if she had not got right with God, that I wanted her to know that I'm offering an olive branch of forgiveness to her, that not to think to any animosity from me. I can't speak for the rest of my family because I have nothing to do with them, but I wanted to let her know that no matter what she did on earth, in my eyes, she didn't deserve eternity in hell, even though it meant taking my brother's life, even though it meant taking 2 other children's lives. And I wanted her to know, and that's my path to forgive. My path was forgiveness. It released me. To my daughter's mother, who, this for the first time in public, I'm saying this where my face is showing. You aborted our first child on me. You lied to me and told me that you have medical conditions. You knew how my stand on abortion. Okay, now I'm not anti-abortion when it comes to the health of the mother or the health of the child. I think that's something that, or a woman who has been sexually assaulted by a man and is impregnated by that. There, the man should have 0 say, nothing. You're a scumbag that took advantage of that woman. But when you have a man who's faithful, who stood by you, who's engaged to you, ready to marry you, and you abort a child and you lie to him and tell him that it was a medical issue, that either you or the baby were going to die. So he walked in the clinic with you, walked past the people calling him a murderer, walked in with your mother as she laughed at him as he was crying, knowing that his child was going in to be exterminated, and belittled me for doing that. Did I hate you for years for that? Yeah. Do I at times right now still struggle with totally forgiveness to you? 100%, because I wonder, would that be my son? Would that be my daughter to be doing the great things that our daughter currently is doing, and maybe even more? What if? The what ifs. Too many men are living out here with the what ifs of abortion, that we had no say, that we as good men who should have been able to have a say in our unborn child's life should have had the ability to say, wait a minute, I want my child. I want to raise my child. But we don't have that. We're going to, because I'm fighting hard for that. I forgive you for doing that. But I thank you, too, for making an angel for me that day. I don't know whether it's a boy or girl, but I know I have an angel. And I know there's not a day goes by over the last it was 28 years since that happened, that I don't think about what if the child had been born? What would they be doing today? And that's okay, because God has a plan. To the other woman that I was involved with, that I had a child with, or supposedly had a child with, the one, you know who I'm talking about. You, the one I met on the internet, Miss Christian, Miss on the old dating website. It was all Christianity and all about God. And we prayed together, and I met Mom and Dad, and boy, everybody was just a church going family. Dad's a pastor. You know who I'm talking about. Come on. I ain't gonna put your name out here. All right. I know you're going to watch this too, because you do. So what happened to Miss Christian? What happened that, when you told me I impregnated you, which is very possible, okay, because we had one sexual relationship that we shouldn't have had. Who accepts responsibility for that? I do. Because as the man, I have the responsibility to say, I have the ability and responsibility to say yes or no. I don't care what you threw in front of me. I don't care you get butt naked and throw this and it looks good. I have the ability and the willpower to say no, and I didn't. And because I fell short, I bit into the apple that was offered to me from the tree. I was told that I have a child that was born because of that union. You never allowed me to be involved in that pregnancy, yet you knew with my daughter from my previous marriage, the one that I do have, that I was at every appointment, that I birthed my child myself. I took birthing classes because I couldn't hold the baby inside me, but I wanted to be there when she came out. Then when she came out, she had to be put on life support. That I was right there. You knew how much I would be there for that child, and you stole the opportunity. Not from me. Listen, what any of you did with the children, you stole the opportunity for that child. You stole from the child. You didn't hurt me. Sure, you caused me a little bit of pain, but ultimately you hurt that child, the unborn child, the child that was born that doesn't know who the baby daddy. I don't know today if that child's mine I'm talking about, because I found out later on that you had been having relationships with multiple men, and that you wasn't all Miss Christian, and the old just touch my hand because we can't be touching nothing else. And I loved it because I'm like, yeah, no PDAs, beautiful, just hold my fingertip because that's all we're allowed to do. Till that one night when I made a choice to allow alcohol to enter into my body and lower my inhibition. See, it's not your fault. You have a responsibility in it, but I had the greater responsibility because, man, I had a choice to allow alcohol in my body. I allowed it to come in, and that lowered my inhibitions. When it lowered my inhibitions, it brought in, you brought that apple from the tree and you presented it to me and I bit into it. But you know what, today, I know that child's in a good place. I don't know whether that child's mine or not, but I know many months later when you came after me for child support, when you came after me for everything because you wanted me now to have to take care of that child, and I was ready to do it. I had no problem with it. Even if I found out the child wasn't mine, God said to me, even if the child's not yours, I placed the child in your path for you to care for. Wow. And when that happened, and I prayed hard, Lord, whatever it is your will for me to do in this situation, child welfare got that child from you. Child welfare put that child into their care. Child welfare began an adoption process. When I found out about it, I called them in Trenton, New Jersey. And I said, hey, I'm supposedly the father of that child, even though no name listed on the birth certificate. If I'm supposed to be the father of that child, I would like to have a part in this child's decision-making in this child's life. No, I don't want the child, not because I don't want the child. First of all, I was still going through, it was only a year out of my divorce to my daughter's mother. Again, I said this earlier, wrong head thinking got me in that relationship. Gentlemen, start thinking with the head on your shoulders more than you think with the one that hangs down below, okay? Because that will be trouble every time, all right? So, use right head thinking, but wrong head thinking puts you in this situation, all right? So, with that situation, I had the ability. Once I contacted them, they said, well, you can't have anything to do with it because you were abusive. She explained all the stuff when the police came the day, I explained the marriage thing. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. Let me get some people on the phone for you. I got her mom. I got her stepdad. I got her dad. And they told the truth. And when they told the truth, the DYFS, Department of Youth and Family Services in New Jersey, allowed me to become a part of the process and helping what was supposed to be. And I don't know to this day she's my child, but I know God put her there. So she's my child. I don't ask. Okay. But they allowed me to be getting the process. And through that, I was able to be part of having this child adopted into an open adoption, where that family, I got to write a letter to this child. And you know what? Mom of this child who I'm talking to right now, I feel bad for you because you gave up a child and you didn't have to. You had a man that would have been there whether you wanted him there or not. He didn't have to be there with you. He'd still been there for the child. And he still is there for the child because that child's in an open adoption. I haven't spoken to her directly, but I keep her parents keep in touch with me because they are her parents. That's who God gave. God showed me, and I wrote in a letter to her. She was Moses. God said to me, put Moses in the basket and let Moses go down the river. And I'm going to bring Moses, your little girl, and she's going to be brought into the right place. And she's going to be reared in the ways that I would want her reared. She's going to be safe and protected. You know how hard that is for anybody to do, a parent just to say, okay. But through faith, I said, you know what? I'm going to do that because I know I couldn't provide for her. I was real. And I know she's doing great now. I keep in touch with her. So you know what? You lady who thought you were going to do that and hurt me, you only hurt yourself. Because now you don't have a relationship with that child. I don't have an interactive relationship with her, but I'm connected to her parents, and they know how to contact me. That's why all my stuff, you want to know why everything, why I give my phone number out, why I give my address? You haters that want to come after me, you boyfriends or other significant others in the lives of the women that have done these things to me, you want to come after me. You know why I give you my address? First of all, ain't none of you got the kahunas to show up anyway, because ain't nobody showed up in my house yet day one. And you know I'm not the guy that's going to come at you that way anyway. I'm going to come to you correct. I'm not going to come to you escalating, want to come out and act all tough and want to get into a fight. I'm going to take you down mentally, and I'm going to break you down in your brain to where you have to think about what you're doing. And right now, I forgive each of those women. To the woman, the most recent relationship I was in, who was abusing her son. Yeah, you know who you are too. You're probably going to watch this too, because it's funny how all you people who have these accusations come back and watch these things. The cool thing that's going to happen, Tommy, that you're going to see, my brother, is that they'll attack you for a while, but after a while, the truth shall prevail. And I'm in that position where the truth has prevailed. They don't attack no more because they know I speak truth. But you who came into my life thinking, I told you how I felt about not getting sexually involved with a woman again until she was the woman that God had for me, and that I had made that covenant promise to God. You knew my covenant with God, and then you knew my stand for children, and that when it came to children, they were the number one thing I had to do in my life. If a woman comes into my life and she wants to share my life with me, she better be able to share my child advocacy work with me, because if she can't, she ain't gonna be around very long. I told you that right from day one. You knew that before we even started dating. You followed me on social networking for 2 years. You created graphics for me for different events I went to. You were there with me when I met with John Walsh and many of the other quote celebrities that I was blessed to come in contact with. And yet you came into my life with your deception, with your own baggage. And when I saw it, I did what I could to help you. You didn't marry me when you married me, because you were already married to your addiction. See, you were married to the addiction. You hadn't divorced yet. So your marriage to me was a farce, because your first love was that bottle, and it still is. And it's destroying you. It's destroying your family, and it's taking your now adult children, except for your youngest son, who's still a child. It's stripped you of them and them of you. Think about getting a divorce from that, all right? I pray for you every day. We keep in contact on social network. I pray for you regularly. I'm blessed that I came into your life for your son in the midst of watching what you were doing to him. When he was still he wasn't even a teenager yet. And I saw what you were doing, and I knew my calling at that moment was to get that boy out of this situation. Did I hurt you by doing that? Yeah. Well, you know what? Sounds cold and callous. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, what I do for children, it's going to hurt an adult. It's going to hurt a mom. It's going to hurt a dad. It's going to hurt somebody who doesn't have the right intention for the child. Because at the end of the day, it's that child I stand for. When I walk into a situation, I'm not there for mommy or daddy. I'm there for the child. And that day, your son needed somebody to say, you know what? Enough's enough. And I did. Yeah, I contacted your ex-husband. I contacted the father of your child. And I did some checking on him. And I worked with his family. Found out a much better place for him. And yeah, you know it. You were in the courtroom. You were one of the first court cases where I was allowed to come from my state of Pennsylvania and travel to your state, which I won't say right now because you know where you are. Come on. And where I got to come into your state and where I was authorized by the court to mediate your case 1,000 miles from where I am. Okay. 1,000 miles west of where I am. Wasn't even in my same state. Okay. And I got to mediate your case to where your child was able to go and be safe and protected. And all you had to do was do what you had to do to get yourself together. And you chose not to. So you live in what you live in now because of the choices you made. Just like I live. And each one of us on this show tonight, listening now, watching, hosting, co-hosting, co-participant in the show, we are all living as a result of the choices we made. I should have made different choices with the women I chose. I didn't. Don't point the finger at them. It's my responsibility. But I tell you what, here's a surprise to all of you women that I just said this to. I love you with a love that's deeper than anything you'll ever understand. Because no matter what you've done to me, no matter what you've done to the children and or children I'm not even aware of, God still has a plan for you. God still has something for you. And if I can be any part of that and help you raise up in that, I'm blessed to be there. I forgive you, the woman who took my brother's life. I forgive you, the woman who stole my child and had it aborted. I forgive you, the woman who stole my child, who is now 30 years old, and took her from me. I don't hate any of you anymore. I hate what you did. Oh, I hate your sin, and I hate my sin too. But I end it with this. I love all of you to life, and that is for real. Love yourselves to life. Get yourselves together, and know that if you need me, my sister too. I didn't even bring her up. My sister, you've been abusive. You know it. Our dad just died in 2012. I reunited with him 29 days before he died. Found him again. And you promised me we were going to be family again. We never were family anyway because we weren't raised together. But you made all these promises and you reneged. And then here we go. Just a few months ago, you pop back in on the scene. And what do a few months later? Do exactly what I said you were going to do, and I hoped you wouldn't. You bail out, you disappear, and you go on your own. You know what? You already know. You call me, I'll be right there for you. Because love and forgiveness in my life is what empowers me. So that's my message for all of you.
Yes. Oh
right.
my goodness. I think we had some healing going on tonight, Carla.
Y'all just came to church.
I'm telling you, how do you feel now, Tommy, that you were able to look in the camera and speak to these women that hurt you? How do you feel now?
I've never done that before. I've never done that. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what to feel. I broke down on it. Y'all got me. This is the first time y'all got me because I ain't never broke down on the film before. Oh my word. Man.
Tommy, do yourself a favor when this is over tonight. Get you some paper and pen and start writing stuff down. Write unsent letters. Okay. When you write this stuff out, when you talk this stuff out, it releases it. It seems silly, because I know when I was like, I don't even write. When you write that down, you're letting it out of you. You're getting rid of that energy. And when you're done with it, you don't got to send it. You know what you do? You take it outside, you bury it. You take it outside, you put it in a fireplace, you burn it up, and you let those ashes become what they are, dead. Okay. And I told you I'm going to do something. I'm going to right now. I'm going to say something to my daughter. While I'm saying that, Tommy, I want you to think about if you're ready to say something to your daughter tonight. She needs to hear from you, and she loves you. To my daughter, Christy Lynn, I own the fact that your mom did what she did. That ended up me not becoming a police officer, her and I not being together. I pointed the finger at your mom for years. And I held her accountable and responsible for things that I, as a man, should have not been doing. See, I blamed your mom, and you know this because you and I have talked about this. I blamed your mom for her infidelity. But what you don't know is that, and you know, if you watch this, I know you probably won't because we say you keep things separate, and I respect that. But what you don't know is that mom put up with a lot. While mom went out and had an affair with a detective doing my background check, which helped me not become a cop, and I pointed the finger at her for years and at him too. So he went through 3 years of my background. He went through every foster home I was in, every place I ever lived. Took him 3 years to do that check and find out that I was good, psychological profile and everything. But what I kept doing is what I just started doing now. Kept pointing the finger. But you know what? My pornography addiction. Oh, I was saintly. What do you mean? I didn't go out and commit adultery. What are you talking about? You know, I didn't sleep with nobody. Guess what? Knock, knock, Charlie. Yeah, you did. Every time you read one of those books, every time you watched one of those movies, every time you looked in one of those magazines, every time you allowed that thought to enter your head of someone other than your wife, the person that should have been getting all that energy, you cheated on her. You stole from her. And thus, you stole from your daughter. So, Christy Lynn, Daddy's sorry that I caused those things. I can't say things would have been different had I not done those things. I would hope that they would. I think your mom might not have made the decision she made, and maybe she would have. I can't predict what she would have done. I can only accept responsibility for what I did. And I can hope, and I can hope that you can forgive me, and I believe you can because we've already come a long way. But when you hear this, and I believe God is showing me right now that you and I actually have to have this conversation face to face. And I'm going to sit down and hold your hand like I always do when I'm honest with you. Because I'm always honest with you. I don't lie. But Daddy's sorry. Because you might have still been able to have mommy and daddy together, and that was taken from you. To my child that's adopted out there, don't know whether you're ever going to see this or not, but if you do, no, I don't know whether I'm your dad or not, but I know that God put me in a position as a male role model, as a father figure, and I did what I felt was best based off what I was instructed to do by the Holy Spirit through God that I prayed to. And to my unborn child, my other angel, the one that's hanging with my brother every day. You know, I'm sorry that as a man, I didn't have the ability. The government doesn't give us the right to stand up for you. The government doesn't recognize us as men, as fathers, to say, wait a minute, I helped procreate that child. I'm sorry that I couldn't do more. I'm sorry that I didn't do more. I should have taken that case, and I still might, to the Supreme Court if I needed to. Because we as men, we as fathers, we good men that get involved with women that decide they don't want to be parents, we should still have the ability to speak out on behalf of our children and have our children born into our care. So I'm sorry that I didn't stand up as more of a father, that I didn't take a place, that I allowed the abuse that I dealt with in my childhood from women to manifest itself into my adult life, and I didn't take a hold of what God placed in my life as a man with authority, with discipline, with it's not machismo, that's silliness. Men, we don't, what we have is men, we are supposed to protect and provide. Women nurture, women provide emotional support. We protect and provide. I didn't protect and provide for the child because I didn't do everything I could. So to you, my angel, that you're looking down on me right now, you're here right with me, right here, right now, as is my brother, alive inside of me. I thank you for standing by me. I thank you for staying with me. I thank you for giving me the fight to help other men and encourage men and encourage women alike. Encourage women alike that if you are impregnated and you just want to get rid of that child, please give dad an opportunity. If he's a good man, please give dad an opportunity. So thank you. And we'll close it at that.
Charlie, I want to show you something, and I want you to tell us what this means to you.
That little guy right there, as you're looking at, that's my angel. That's the last known picture of my brother alive. Okay, that picture, if I could show you, I ain't going to because I'm going to keep my clothes on, but that picture is tattooed on my back over my left arm and my shoulder, on his back tat. And the reason I have it back there is because the day he was taken is the day that this arm was shattered and had to be rebuilt. So this whole left side is a memorial to my brother. On the other side is a memorial to my dad. But that's my little brother. Yeah. That's my angel. Matter of fact, hold on. Who's over there on the wall?
I see it. Awesome.
And right above there is a child abuse prevention wreath. He's with me all the time. He's right here in my offices. So,
well, I knew that would mean a lot to you, so I wanted to make sure to share that on the broadcast. But we're definitely going to wrap it up tonight, guys. It has been an incredible. Speak on it, Carla. Speak on it.
Speechless. I mean, you guys definitely, y'all have definitely, you've moved me. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate everything that you've said. When men speak the way that you speak, you put yourself in a vulnerable position, and I appreciate it. Not as a female, not as a fellow survivor, just as a human. I just appreciate it. And keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking. Keep screaming it out, making a ruckus, whatever it is that you guys are doing on a daily basis, because it is so important. And I'm thankful to know you for sure.
Ella,
yes, sir.
She said my trigger word. Can I go real just a little 2-3 minutes on the survivor thing? She said she triggered me my word. Can I get that out?
Okay, sure. Yeah, let's do that so we can get out of here.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your grace of extra time. Thank you for our listening audience, both now and the future. So I hear the word survivor, okay, and I get frustrated because let me help you understand something. I'm going to take you. So most all of us have been in some sort of body of water at some time, okay, and maybe you were in water was so deep that you had to try to swim or float to stay alive. What were you doing at that moment? You were doing what's called surviving, right? So when you're in the middle of your abusive situation, you're already a survivor, because if you weren't, you wouldn't have got through it, okay? So we walk around with these survivor names and wonder why it's so easily to victimize us again. Because when we identify as a survivor, we were already the victim to be a survivor. So here's what I'm going to say to you. The only way you are a survivor right now, in my world of thinking and in what I do, is if you're still in the midst of the abuse. Because that means you're surviving. If you're out of that, if you've come out of that, here's what you've done. Like if you were in water and you came up out of the water, what have you done? You overcome the ability of the water to take your life. So now if you're out of those relationships, you're out of that situation, you're an overcomer. So get rid of the survivor, because that keeps you too close to being a victim, because you were already a victim. You're already a survivor in the midst of victimhood. So you're an overcomer. Now, what happens when you come up out of water? your body's wet, your clothes are wet, your hair, well, if you have any, unlike me, might be might be a mess. All right, your skin's all wrinkled. In other words, there's a sign you went through something.
Right.
Okay. When you come up out of that situation, whatever it is, financial abuse, verbal abuse, domestic violence, whatever it is, there's a sign. Allow yourself. That's your time to heal. To allow yourself to begin the process of healing. Be selfish. Take that time. Okay. It's okay. You deserve it. You've earned it because you survived.
Amen.
And then
Amen.
the next step after that is there's a point in your overcoming that you're going to want to start helping people. All right. You're going to turn around. Now, here's a problem that happens in the world of advocacy. A lot of time folk who want to help other people aren't really ready to dive back into the waters. Okay. Because and I'll tell you a way to test yourself to find out if you're ready to take that next step. If you go to advocate and help somebody with a situation and you find it brings you back in memory and it drives you into a dark place, you're not ready to take that next step. But what you are ready to do, you're ready to throw a life ring out there. So you don't have to jump in that water. You can stand on the side and get that life ring and throw it out to them, and you can throw it out and you can help pull them in because now that's also like what happened tonight with Tommy, what happened with me, what happened. You're healing while you're doing that. You're sharing your story, you're sharing your stuff, and you're bringing somebody else in. You're healing. Then there's the last thing I want to say. So if you're out of the situation, stop identifying you're a survivor. You're an overcomer. If you're over the overcoming and you're at that point where you're helping others, you're a victor. You have gained victory over the situation. And then the final step in this is the transcender. Those who transcended everything. Those are the ones that can dive back into those situations. I go into courtrooms where children were murdered, into the hearings, and I see the autopsy reports. I see the pictures, and I sit in courtrooms and I give expert statement. And you know what? I'm not triggered by what happened to my brother. I walk into places where children are being aborted. I'm not. So that's when you know you're at that stage. If when you get to that point, you are a transcender. Some people will call it a warrior. I like the word transcending because it's more empowering. So I want to encourage you tonight. You're more than a survivor if you're out of the situation. You might be surviving in something else. Tommy, you are more than a survivor. Ella, you are more than a survivor. Carla, you are more than a survivor. Everyone that's listening to this broadcast, somewhere in your life, in some aspect, you are already a transcender. Find that, focus on that, and all the other places will fall in order. Thank you so much. God bless.
Awesome. Well, Tommy, I want to give you the last word before we get out of here, because it seems like you know how you see Carla, when you see people that look like they've seen a ghost. That's what Tommy's looking like right now. Like I know he's looking at us, but it looks like his camera's frozen, but it's not frozen. This is what it feels like to move past your uncomfortability. This is what it feels like. You took a leap of faith and you said, you know what? I'm going to try this. And you did it. That's why you weren't going to get off the show without doing that. I just wanted to let you know that, because I knew, but this had nothing to do with me. I was hearing that. And because we ushered in God before we came to this broadcast, I have to listen. I have to be obedient to his voice. And that was for you, my brother. That was for you. And you walked into it. So now you're going to get off of here and you're going to feel brand new. And I like what Charlie said about your daughter. We need to fix that. That's the last little step of this, because you spoke to those women and you don't need to worry about your exes coming after the host. Okay. Yeah. You don't need to worry about that. Okay. They're not going to do that, because you know what? There's healing for everybody. Everybody needs it. I would love to bring them on the broadcast. Let them heal. This is not about, because you know what? We can't move forward and God can't use us if we're all broken and we're all just, he needs to be able to use us, but he got to put us back together. I was thinking about something, Charlie. You know how when you go to the doctor after you break your ankle or something, it's like they finish breaking it so it can heal better. Right? And I think that's what happened. You had to be broken again, but now you're going to heal. And with that said, guys, you have one more thing to say, Charlie. What you got there?
This is real healing, folks. If you're in recovery from something, you ain't in recovery the rest of your life, okay? And what's that mean? Well, if you went to the hospital and had surgery, where do you go after you come out of the surgical room? You go to the recovery room. Do you stay in that the rest of your life? No. You get out of the regular room. You get out in the life. So if you're struggling with an addiction, if you're in something, stop calling yourself I'm a recovering whatever. If you ain't doing it no more, you ain't recovering. You are recovered and you're free. So that's all I got to say about that. Thanks, Ella.
Amen. Well, listen, you know what, guys? We had another 2-hour show. Carla?
Yes, we did.
Girl, listen, I'm okay with it though. I really am okay with it because you know what?
Hey, this was really great.
This is what these shows are for. I don't come on here to just shoot in the wind. No, if I'm going to have a platform, if God is going to put something here for people to see, it needs to be healing our country and healing our people. That is what this show is all about. And tonight we did that. And I am proud of you guys. Thank you all so much because both of you came onto the show with a short. I had a whole different show tonight, but God took this thing a whole different direction. I wasn't supposed to interview you guys. Honestly, I had other people that were going to come on and one of them canceled. And you know how it just works when it's all God is in it. But I thank you guys for coming onto the broadcast. I want you guys to tune in again tomorrow night, this week on the Ella Johnson Show. We have been having domestic violence true stories from victors. We're not going to call them survivors anymore because Charlie's on here. Charlie said, don't call them that anymore. You know, so you're victors. So we've been having victory stories this week. And, you know, we have 2 more nights for this. But like I told you guys before, the reason that this started in the first place is because my cousin was killed as a result of domestic violence. And God has just taken this platform and used it to help people because some of your family members, you're watching this broadcast, but they are suffering in silence, men and women. As you saw tonight on the broadcast, we have men that have been abused, and we should stop pointing the fingers and soft and saying all these kinds of things because men cry, men suffer too. And I'm so proud of these 2 men that shared that with us because now we all learned something. Because I'll be honest with you, Carla, I didn't realize it was like that. I'll be honest with you. I really didn't. And I'm just glad you guys were brave. But thank you all again. Thank you for watching. Some of you were really stayed with us for 2 hours. We've actually had people that stayed the whole time. And I'm very proud of you. But thank you all so much. Share the broadcast and we'll see you again tomorrow night right here on the Ella Johnson Show, YouTube and Facebook Live. All right. So everybody have a good night. We'll see you next time.
Yes. Good night.
Namaste.